Today we'll be making Kerala style beef fry or beef roast. You may want to pause here for the ingredients and the preparation methods. Today we're going to make a very special dish from Kerala for breaking fast, which is the local beef fry from Kerala. Now let's have a look at the ingredients. Now we basically need about 1 kilogram of cube beef. This is fresh, so just got it from the market. We will need to basically put this into the pressure cooker to cook it, to make it a bit tender before we actually fry the beef. Now in terms of the vegetables, we basically need 4 onions that I have sliced thinly, 5 cloves of garlic chopped, about 2 cms of ginger finely chopped. Now to make the condiment for the beef fry, we'll need about 1 cup of bird's eye chili that I cut into maybe 1 centimeter length. We will fry this. 1 cup of cube coconut. This actually makes the dish very special. Basically 4 sprigs of curry leaves. Half of it we will actually add to cook the beef. Half of it we will fry as a garnish. In terms of the spices, we'll need 4 bay leaves, 2 star anise, 2 cms of cinnamon stick, about 10 cardamons, 10 to 12 cloves. We'll need 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds, 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds, 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds with a pinch of fenugreek. In terms of the spice powder, we'll need, let's move this aside, 1 tablespoon of chili powder or chili flakes, 2.5 tablespoons of coriander powder, 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder. We also need the beef fry masala powder, or you can see beef ularte masala. This is from Kerala. If you don't have this, just use any meat curry powder, about 2 to 3 tablespoons. We'll need salt and pepper, and we must use coconut oil. So what we'll do is we'll start by putting the beef into the pressure cooker and then cook. Usually what I'll do is I cook until the whistles, it whistles 3 times. That will be good enough for tenderizing the beef. So let's put that into the pressure cooker. Alright, so I've cleaned and washed my beef. Remember that the beef actually has a lot of moisture in it, so I don't want to add too much of water. It's actually fairly dry at the moment, but there is a lot of moisture inside. So what I'll do is, I'll just add like a cup of water just to prevent initially for okay, there's actually plenty of water. So I'm going to turn on the heat. Okay, and 3 whistles. Alright, so once the beef is cooked, I'll come back. So it's whistled 3 times. So I've depressurized the beef. So you can see like the beef is it's fairly tender. I don't want it to be soft because we have to fry this. There's so much of water that came out, and we will have to fry until that water evaporates. So we'll start preparing our wok. So I am heating up my non-stick wok. This really needs a non-stick pan. If not, it'll stick to the pan like crazy. So I'm going to add, after heating up the wok, I'm going to start by frying the chilies and the curry leaves. So I need a bit of oil. So I'm adding about like maybe 4 or 5 tablespoons of oil here. This is dry. So I'm going to start by putting in the chilies. We want to fry until it starts blistering. Okay, turn down the flame. Okay, we want to take out the chilies now. It's blistered, and the oil will have a very nice spice to it right now. We are going to fry our curry leaves. We'll put in a bit more of it like this. It's going to start spluttering like crazy now. Okay, we'll leave some for the beef. Okay, now we're going to turn down the flame. Now we are going to remove the curry leaves now. More than enough. Okay. Now comes the longer. Turn on the flame a little bit. We're gonna fry all the coconut bits until this has a good caramelized surface, almost a little bit brown. So I've been frying the coconut bits for a few minutes now. You can see that it's turned semi-brown. This is fairly good enough. I turn down the heat. I'm gonna take this thing out. And after this I'll switch over to a wooden spatula because things will get very hot after this. So these are our fried condiments: curry leaves, bird's eye chili, and the coconut bits. As the oil is heating up, we'll add in our mustard seeds, fennel, cumin, and fenugreek. Okay, all of this. Just give it a good mix until it starts spluttering. Okay, so now the mustard seeds are starting to splutter, so that's good. Now we're going to add in our other spices, so our everything else. Okay. So now I'm going to add in my ginger and garlic. Yeah, that's right. Ginger, garlic first, so it can start breaking down before we add our onions. Okay, switching over to my wooden spoon. So I've got about 4 onions. I'm going to save some for garnishing on top. So I'm going to put most of it in here. So the ginger and garlic has been frying, so that's good enough. I'm going to put in maybe, let me just get all of the ginger garlic in, especially the middle part. Okay, I'm going to leave some of the outer rings for basically garnishing. Okay, so that's a bit more. Okay, so that's good for garnishing. The other ginger and garlic. Alright. So now I'm going to add a bit of salt because that helps the onions release more water so that it caramelizes. Put the flames on. So the onions are almost soft, already translucent but almost soft. Right, so it is at this moment that we want to add in our curry leaves. Okay. Just give it a fry like this. Just add small layers of flavor. And now we want to add in our spice, our powders. So we've got chili, 1 tablespoon, turmeric 1 tablespoon, coriander 2.5 tablespoons. So the coriander gives it body. So all of this thing comes off. Okay, good enough. I'm going to turn down the heat a little while as I add my spice powder. So the beef ular tu masala. Okay, this we will put in about like 3 tablespoons for the amount of beef. Just a bit more, so 3 tablespoons. Okay, so just turn back up the heat a little bit. Right, so now what we're going to do is to toast the spices. And it will have a toasty smell and toasty flavor to it, so which is great. Okay, I'm going to just toast this for a few more seconds. We don't want to burn this, so we got to just be careful. That's also why we are using a non-stick pan. This is quite important when making beef fry. Okay, I think that's fairly toasted right now. We're going to add in some of the liquid. That's to basically make the masala. It's quite good now. So now I'm going to add the beef, all of it, some more of the water, and I just need to be careful before I splatter all over myself. This is not a lot of beef. During the festivals, beef is always so expensive. Okay, so we'll need to cook this until it's dry. And the reason why I use the beef stock is to add the flavor back, because that beef stock is significantly flavorful. So we'll need to fry this until it becomes dry. Of course, before that we'll need to season this. Okay, so that the seasoning gets into the meat and so on. Okay, so right now I'm going to add in an initial, there's no salt at the moment, or very little salt at the moment. We'll need about a tablespoon of salt because there's so much of beef. And I'm going to add some black pepper as well. Maybe about just a little bit more spice. So I'm going to cook this until it's semi-dry, and then I'll come back. Okay, so this has been frying for about 5 minutes. Some of the liquid has been absorbed, but you can still see some gravy. So we need to fry this until it's a bit drier, until it becomes a bit darker. I'm frying it in a small flame so it wouldn't burn. So our beef fry is done. Just letting it cool a little bit. So later we'll basically garnish all of this together and mix it up together and put a small layer on top. So I'm just going to add in some chilies at the moment, some curry leaves, and some of the fried coconut. Okay. So once you mix it up, this would be a very traditional beef fry in Kerala. Okay, and this is for breaking fast today. You can try it. Enjoy.